YouTube is bugging. You're right. Thank you for coming to the first episode of my podcast. Let me turn that music way down. Do 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 do. It's blasting in my ears still. Okay. Okay, here we go. So obviously, nope, not face reveal. I did a vlog about Prestige Plus Pass. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about the Dragster today. I was trying to write a script about Vacoma, and then I was trying to write a script about Dark Coaster. Yes, I have shown it on TikTok too. Yeah, I was trying to write multiple scripts, and I just basically couldn't do anything without addressing this news. So if you didn't see, this is what Cedar Point put out today. They said, we have an important update to share regarding our top Thrill Dragster roller coaster. After 19 seasons in operation with 18 million riders, 18 million riders experiencing the world's first strata coaster, Top Thrill Dragster, as you know it, is being retired. However, Cedar Point's legacy of ride innovation continues. Our team is hard at work creating a new and reimagined ride experience. We'll share more details and information at a later date. So let's get into this. I wanted to hop in with chat, kind of see what everybody was feeling. I've been watching around all the different little communities, TikTok, Discord, YouTube, some Facebook groups, all those kind of things, and see what everybody's feeling. So the kind of general consensus I've seen is split between either the ride's getting torn down, which it's not, I'll get into that later, or the ride is going to be rebuilt into something else. Sorry, I'm just looking over at my fiance right there who's watching my streams, trying to make sure it's all working. So let's kind of dive into all the little theories about what's been happening. Quick backstory, if you don't know, for anybody listening to the podcast, last year, unfortunately, a flag plate, which is a piece of metal about this big in an L shape, so like that, flew off one of the trains of Dragster on the brake run, struck a woman in the head who was waiting in the queue, and she unfortunately had to go to the hospital. My understanding is that she will eventually recover, however, she's still under medical care. Yeah, she didn't die like some rumors have been saying. I want to get that out of the way. Excuse me. What is in my beard? I have a fluff. Okay, there it is. So yeah. Theme Park Avenue, you don't watch many vlogs. Well then. But yes, actually, I will get into that in a moment with the interesting that the announcement came out when it did. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. But first, so the flag plate hitter, Top Thrill Dragster has been closed all season, and they basically have been silent about it. And it is pretty interesting that the news came out when it did. So we're looking at the day after Labor Day. I've seen a lot of people, specifically in Facebook groups, mostly saying that it's really convenient timing for the park, is when it came out, because the Labor Day sale just ended yesterday, and so they were kind of pushing sales without talking about what was going to happen to Dragster. And Dragster is gone now, so I have a feeling that some people are thinking that they were intentionally leaving the Dragster reveal for after the Labor Day sale to push more gold passes specifically. I don't think that's true, because it honestly doesn't make much business sense, first of all, because people can cancel their pass. I mean, a lot of people do it on payment plans, so you can cancel it. You can refute the charges. I think it was more they waited this long because they wanted the 2022 season to be over before they officially addressed this. They wanted the boardwalk to have its time, which obviously was announced a couple weeks ago on that day. I made a video about it. I don't know. You can go check it out. But they wanted the boardwalk to kind of have its day. Nobody was going to care about the boardwalk if they announced on the same day that Dragster is being retired as we know it. But if they announce the boardwalk, wait approximately a month after the season's over. G'day, Zero G Coasters. If they wait about a month after that, when the season's over, they have about a week to prepare for one more weekend of operation before the weekend of Hollow Weekends. It's kind of the perfect optimal time from a business sense. That's my general consensus on that. Theme Park Avenue, I considered making a video on that too, but I decided that this was probably the best way to handle this, is more an open concept, just kind of speaking my mind video. I find that when I get into making videos like this, I would try to over edit it and I wouldn't get my thoughts across as clearly. Hi Tyler, how are you doing tonight? Kenny Fair, it's your dad's number one. Also, sorry if my nose is a little stuffy. I was at Cedar Point this weekend, and whenever I travel, I kind of get a little sick. So I was a little under the weather this morning, and then I had to go to work. And yeah, so I'm a little stuffy. But yeah, so what could be happening to Top Thrill Dragster is kind of the big conversation now. You're good and sad, me too. I was kind of at work today, like I said earlier in the podcast here. I was trying to write a couple scripts for what we could do. Exactly, Zero G Coasters. I was trying to write scripts about what they could do. Trying to write a video about Vekoma. I was trying to write a video about Dark Coaster and Family Coasters. That's basically Theme Park Avenue. For anybody listening via audio, I should probably read these comments. Said I probably won't because I'm trying to resist the urge to make a Top Thrill Dragster video because many others have done it. That's why I wanted to go with a podcast format, because I was thinking about starting a podcast anyway, and I saw the news at 9:46 a.m. and it went out at 9:40 a.m. So I kind of could have had the jump to make like the first Dragster video on YouTube, because I was just in that room right there when I saw the news. And I decided that I didn't want to make the first Dragster video on YouTube for multiple reasons. First of all, if anything ended up coming out later from the park, or any type of press release of any... Sorry, my dog just ate something. Russo, what are you eating? So the sorry, I just lost my entire train of thought because my dog ate something. Oh yeah, so I could have made the first Dragster video, but I decided to kind of let my thoughts simmer for a while, see what everybody else was thinking, and get into the proper mindset instead of making a reactionary video. And this is kind of what everybody's been thinking. So you have your crowd that is convinced it's being torn out this year. That's not happening. Cedar Park has to apply for what's called a demo permit. They have to tell the city of Sandusky they're going to be doing demolition if they want to be doing demolition. They have not applied for that, so we know at least this season, or this off-season, Top Thrill Dragster will not be getting ripped out. That's essentially confirmed as you can get without a official press release. So that's out of the way. So we're looking at what they could redo. So we have a straight LSM launch. Just same exact layout, straight LSM launch. People have been saying LSMs are not powerful enough. I disagree with that. Intamin advertises the LSM to be a 124 mile per hour launch capability. And the tunnel in Maverick, which has LSM technology from 2007, I'm going to get into that in a second, Cedar Point boys. The LSM technology from 2007 was able to get the Maverick trains, which albeit are lighter, from 0 to 70 in 400 feet. And I believe the Dragster launch track is 700 feet. Don't quote me on that. But basically, it's capable of getting lighter trains up to 120 miles an hour in the 700 feet launch track. So the first thought is that straight LSMs, they're going to launch us up. Possibly some boosters on the way up is another part of that theory I've heard. But I don't think that's exactly likely to happen. That is what my first theory was back when I made a couple Dragster videos that actually were some of the things that started getting attention to my channel. But I do not think that's going to be happening now. So basically what I think is going to be happening, which is another theory, is that there's going to be some sort of change to the layout itself. So I've seen people say a multi-launch a la Pantheon, where it'll, start here, go up the top hat, back down, up a new spike that they add, and then a rolling launch up the top hat. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. I think that's almost too much of a change to the skyline aspect of Dragster. I mean, Dragster is so iconic in the Cedar Point Midway that I really don't think they could tear it down. And this goes kind of with the same general vibe is if you add a large vertical spike, I wish I had a piece of paper to draw a picture. A large vertical spike back here into a hill into the top hat. I think that just changes the general look too much. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of water here. Changes the general look. It's fine. My fiance handed me a piece of paper to draw a picture. So I've seen a Aries scale modeling, Aries. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Scale modeling, add an LSM launch and retheme it. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But I think that if it comes with an LSM launch, they have to add something after the, like kind of like an accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. Which I will be writing next year. That accelerator video is still going to be happening. I'll get into that at the end of this if you want to stay tuned for that. I agree, bilateral breakfast. That's why I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. I'm not replacing Dragster with Red Force. It's not an accelerator. Sorry, like I said, I'm a little stuffy from traveling. But I think that if they add something, it has to be King Naka style, where it's after the top hat, because that top hat is just too iconic of a lead-in to the ride that I don't think they have to do something after the top hat, in my opinion. So what would they do after the top hat? Well, I actually yesterday was at Cedar Point, like I said, and I was looking at the markings all over the ground and just kind of the locations, not really what they are per se. I mean, they have green markings, which are sewer, blue markings, which are water, and red markings, which are electrical. So I kind of was more surveying where the markings are in terms of where they would possibly be planning groundswork, because they have to legally mark the grounds for groundswork. If that was my fiance that just said replace Dragster with Corkscrew, I will make you leave until I'm done. Okay, let's look at chat for a second here. Almost got a Eurofighter at Cedar Point. I mean, that was a rumor. I don't think it was. That Eurofighter ended up going to a park that I can't remember off the top of my head. But it was. I don't know if it was ever going to Dragster. Only fear is if they change the layout, they would add the car restraints. The car restraints only exist because New Jersey has a rule about needing over-the-shoulder restraints if the height is over a certain feet, is my understanding. Glenwood Caverns, that is correct. So the car restraints only exist because New Jersey mandates over-the-shoulder restraints. I think if we're getting a new LSM launch, we're going to get the Pantheon and Velocicoaster restraints. You're right, Kenny Fair. I think it is over 400 feet. Anything over 400 feet, which is so arbitrary because the only rides over 400 feet in New Jersey, I believe, is the Drop Tower on Ka and Ka. So it's like such an arbitrary rule to have. Another Ka-type ride, we must have clamshells or good airtime space lap bar. I have not personally ridden anything with the new Intamin lap bar, those being Pantheon and Velocicoaster, but I've heard they are fan-frickin-tastic for airtime and comfort. Replacement with Dragster with the reincarnation of the best aerodynamics. Zumanjaro, yeah, that's what it's called. I couldn't think of the name of it. Pantheon is cray, but they are amazing. Do you think this will spark Intamin and Cedar Fair? I think it's possible. In that Intamin video I made a few days ago, which by the way did amazing, and I'm very thankful for you guys. That is full disclosure here. That video is sending me really close to my watch time needed for monetization, which is fantastic. Thank you. At the end of the video, I kind of said that if Dragster gets reworked to some extent, I feel like they would have to work with Intamin. I mean, Intamin makes the best LSMs. They would need the trains. It's just such... Based on the fact that they said... Let me read it exactly here. A new and reimagined ride experience. I kind of feel like they have to work with Intamin. I mean, I've seen people jokingly say mock, at which point I said, yeah, you'll just get pushed up the hill instead of launched up the hill. But I think they kind of have to work with Intamin if they want to really make a world-class... I mean, unless they pull off some random Vekoma Oh, it's like if you say, I can't think of what it is. Never mind. That was a stupid joke. I did know Diamondback was closed all of Sunday. I saw that. I don't know why. Sorry, I'm just reading chat here. What do you think the new stuff with Dragster will be? Yeah, I was just getting into that, and then I kind of got sidetracked by my fiance saying corkscrew. So I think worst comes to worst. We know that. Okay, so let's say, for sake of argument, that this is happening in 2024, because I kind of imagine they would have announced it for 2023 and or said that it would be coming in 2024. 1,000-foot T-Rex, holy cow. So it's kind of assumed at this point that corkscrew might be kicking the bucket in 2024. Whether you believe it or not, that's just kind of a rumor that's been kicking around the enthusiast space here. But let's say, just for sake of argument here, corkscrew is axed after 2023. It is not your favorite. Uh, Steel Vengeance is our favorite in the park, just for the record. So let's say corkscrew's out. I think you go up the top hat, down, back over / through the station and or launch track, kind of like what's the name of that Vekoma family boomerang at Energylandia? There's a Vekoma family boomerang at Energylandia that has a corkscrew through the station. Hi, dog. Let me know if you guys want to see my dog. But so yeah, so I think it'll go over and or through the station. Dota Dompa launch on Dragster would break people's backs, just like the real Dota Dompa does. I desperately want to ride that ride, but that's a whole other point. So yeah, maybe you go over the station, just for sake of speculation, over the station, across the midway, do a few, maybe a heartline roll back through. I assume they'll leave the corkscrew part of, like, on the midway of Dragster. So let's say maybe you go through there for the kind of break run and then line back up with the station. I don't know. It's just throwing something out there, but I think that I'm really torn with it, Cedar Cubes, as to whether or not they will add new track. But if I have to make, like, let's say, just for sake of argument, I have to make a guess onto what's going to be happening with the track, that's what I'm picking. Add the arrow vertical loop after the top hat. Oh, imagine taking an arrow vertical loop at, let's say you lose 20% of your speed, you're still going 100 miles an hour. No, thank you. Height expansion is something I wanted to get into. Thank you, BTAQ182. Something I've definitely seen thrown around a lot today is that they're going to 95-foot vertical loop. That they're going to add height to beat King Naka. And that they're going to try and take back the world's tallest record. I think it's possible, but here's why I'm leaning towards no. At Coaster Mania, which Tony refused to talk about Dragster at the Coaster Mania Q&A. Okay, if you don't know, let's start there, I guess. Coaster Mania gets a Q&A where we all get to sit in a room and text in questions, and Tony would pick out his favorite ones and answer them. He went out of his way during the Coaster Mania Q&A to say specifically that they were done trying to break or trying to always maintain / break the records. He basically made it sound like Cedar Point was done with Coaster Wars. And then he refused to answer questions about Dragster specifically. So I don't think that they're going to be adding height, but it's entirely possible that they do. I think that if they did add height, it's possible if they add LSM boosters on the way up the hill. I don't think it's possible to do it with... So let's say they want to get up to 460 feet to round it off. I think that, let's say you launch at the full 124 miles an hour that LSMs are advertised at. I think you can get up the hill I highly doubt Cedar Point is out of the war. I'm going to take off all the fanboys by saying we can't swallow their pride. They can't swallow their pride like that. Yeah, I mean that is. I see that comment and I raise you one wild mouse. Um, the wild mouse was definitely a business decision, and adding height to Dragster, I don't know. I genuinely don't know how much draw Ka gets from its. I guess Ka probably does get a lot of attention for being the tallest. If Ka was shorter than Dragster, I don't think it would get nearly the lines it does. I did see somebody today saying to add mock extreme spinner trains. That would be absolutely batshit crazy. I'm gonna ask my fiance this for a second. She's also an enthusiast. You know the mock extreme spinner trains on Time Traveler? Imagine those on Dragster.
Oh my gosh.
If you couldn't hear her, she said, "Oh my gosh." If Dragster and Corkscrew get removed, I feel like a racing one might get added or something like West Coast Racers. I feel like a GCI, probably with some Titan track racing with inversions over the midway, like in the Corkscrew spot, would actually fit pretty well there. If they did add height, it would immediately be obvious considering they have to chop off the top. That's a good point. You know, so I was thinking about this recently. How the heck... So eventually they're gonna have to tear down Dragster, okay? Like that's not debatable. Whether it's now or 50 years from now, Dragster has to come down eventually. How are they gonna do it? It's encased between a lagoon and a midway, and the midway is lined currently with Corkscrew, Magnum, Gemini, and then over here is the train track and the slingshot. How do you tear down a 400-foot tall coaster? Because when they took down Wicked Twister, they just chopped it in half and let it fall. Kind of leaning between LSMs and LIMs and just keeping the hydraulic launch, or they might add a compressed air launch. I don't think they're going to add or keep hydraulic launch. I mean, it's possible, but that's like bottom. Actually, air launch is the bottom of my list. Keeping hydraulic is right above that. They did get it up there. However, it's easier to build up than tear down. The answer is carefully as to how they would do it. Yeah, probably with a crane. So if I had to rank those launches in there from LSM, LIM, hydraulic, and compressed air. Actually, LIMs I don't think are strong enough, so I guess that's technically the bottom. Then air compressed, because my understanding is that it's a maintenance nightmare, just like hydraulic, but but it's more powerful in a way where it's more acceleration, less speed, which is not what they need. I mean, just look at Dota Dompa. It literally broke 4 people's necks and backs. And then if we go on to hydraulic, keeping hydraulic, it's possible. They already removed the launch cable, which you could take as they are inverting, or they're adding a new launch cable because it's sat dormant for so long, or you could take that as because they're doing a new reimagined ride experience, and Dragster, as we know, is being retired. Dog. Russo, look at the people. Then it's not going to be there, and... So then after that, you have LSMs. It just makes sense to me. LSMs are relatively reliable to an extent. I mean, Maverick is down if a bird sneezes within 5 miles. But to an extent, LSMs are usually reliable. And intimate reliability recently has been a lot better using LSMs, so I guess we'll see about that. 400-foot flyer. You know, a couple months ago, I said that it would be really cool to have a flyer that was over like a giga or bigger. Do I prefer hydraulic or LSM? I prefer hydraulic. Realistically, I think it's going to be LSM. But a while ago I said a giga flyer would be cool just for, you know, that skydive drop like on X2 or I guess any flying coaster. Technically. The second you go vertical, add spinning carts and make the track do a 360. Okay, here's what they're going to do. They're going to turn it into a Vekoma tilt coaster. No, they're not. A 400-foot inverted coaster. Let's get a 300-foot inverted coaster for X2, but 500 feet. That would be insane. I also want to get into my Intimate Accelerator video. I briefly want to talk about that because I made a deal with the coaster community that if I could get 1,000 subscribers before my birthday on October 19th, 2022, which obviously has not happened yet, and obviously, as you can tell right there, I have more than 1,000 subscribers, so you guys actually smashed that goal. But if I could get over 1,000 subscribers, then I would... Yeah, that was actually a great post. It did really well. Got me more subscribers than I expected, and it was a very overwhelming weekend when I started shooting up. Anyway, back to the point. I said that I was going to ride Dragster, Storm Runner, King Ka. It's the one I forget the most. King Ka, and any tips for making good videos? I'll get into that in a minute. And I said I was going to ride Accelerator all in one day. The 4 accelerators. They're also adding one at Lost Island in Iowa, which I was not including at the time because it has not launched on American soil yet. But it seems I've had to call an audible with that video. I'm still going to be making a very, very similar video. The video is probably going to be called I Rode Every Intimate Accelerator in America in One Day. It's going to be a 24-hour period from... I'm going to start in Iowa. I'm going to do that one at night. Then the following morning, I'm going to catch a 6:30 a.m. flight out to Hershey, continue the challenge as planned. I wish I could do it in one operating day like originally said, but because of how remote that park in Iowa is, the closest airport that I would be able to make it work is like 3 hours away, and I wouldn't be able to get there and back in time. So I'm going to have to do that. Well, how I'm going to travel across the country in one day. Okay, so let's break this down. So there's 3 details that help me with this. First of all, like I said, one of them is actually going to be at night the night before, but I will be done in 24 hours, I hope. So it should be fine. Because it's going to be 24 hours. It's still one day. It's not one operating day, but it's 24 hours. Just bear with me. I'm going to start in Iowa. I'm going to fly out the night. I'm going to land at about 11:30 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's a half hour to Hershey. That gets me there at 12. My sister lives a half hour away from Hershey, so she's going to drive me from Hershey to Great America. I actually haven't announced this anywhere yet, but El Toro Ryan's going to be meeting me at Great Adventure. I just said Great America. But he's going to be in the video if we can make it work out. So... From there, I'm going to be driven by my sister to the Trenton airport or Newark. I don't know yet. I have to relook at flights. But from there, from Trenton, I'm going to fly out to California. I'm going to ride Knott's, hopefully within 24 hours. I don't know if I can make it work, but on paper it's going to work. So I'm going to cross my fingers. Yeah, so it's actually going to be pretty cool. I'm really excited for that. Real quick before I kind of wrap this up, because I kind of got everything off my mind. First, I'm going to open the floor to you guys. Let me know what you're thinking. We can discuss that. I also want to officially announce that I am working on a coaster merch company. I walked into Cedar Point and I saw one of their... I'll actually pull up the picture of their shirt. Yo, this saxophone, though. It was... I walked into Cedar Point and I looked at this shirt and it was $35. And I basically walked in and said, yeah, I can make that. I can make a better shirt cheaper for this community. So I reached out to one of my friends from college who was a graphic designer and I said, hey, let's get into this. So hopefully within a couple weeks, we're going to be showing off some products. Also, while I'm here, here's the Wild Mouse track if you wanted to see that. Just figured I'd show you that real quick. Yeah, so I'm going to be launching that soon. We're going to be trying to make good amusement park inspired / theme park merch that's going to be more affordable than parks. We're shooting for... I'm not going to give out prices yet, but okay. Any tips on making good videos? For me personally, it all comes down to the script. If I don't write a good script, I'm not making the video, basically. Thanks, Element of the Ride. Well, this live stream is going to stay up on my channel after this. If you want to stick around after this, and when it processes, you can listen back to it. We've basically been just talking about Dragster and just got into some stuff about my channel. What was I saying? I forget. You
I'm
forget
not the
too.
person to ask.
Oh, how to make good videos. So for me, if I'm not confident in my script, I'm not recording it. Just straight up, I'm not gonna record it. The one tip that I've really never I'll get into what I'm gonna do another one of these in a second. Yes, I was talking about my script. So I work really hard on my scripts. Like my video that came out about the intimate video that came out last. That video took me probably 5 hours to write and 3 hours to edit. So writing was longer than editing and uploading for that video, and thumbnail took me like 10-20 minutes. Another... Hey! Be quiet! Hey! What are you barking at? Hey! Sorry about that. So you want to come up here and say hi to the people? Come here. Hey. Come here. Come here. Come say hi. Come on. Oh, this is my dog, everybody. Her name is Russo. Better videos. A lot of YouTubers actually provide copyright-free footage of coasters. So don't really worry about footage as much as you think you might have to. You don't have to record at every park. I actually rarely record at parks because I just kind of know, like, Airtime Thrills has a channel. El Toro Ryan has a lot of copyright-free footage. Coaster Force, like all those channels, they provide for other people. So really focus on your script. Even your phone can probably record good audio these days. I literally record nothing at parks. I mean, that's not true. I took a slow-mo Millie the other day. But, like, it really comes down to your script. Sorry about that. Your confidence behind the mic is a big thing. I mean, I went to college for video production, so I've always been kind of confident behind a microphone to some extent. And pick up DaVinci Resolve. It's free. And there's a ton of tutorials for how to edit with it. But yeah, I mean, all I can really say about making good videos is really focus on your script. If your script is good, you can honestly get away with, like, I have a couple videos with really janky audio cuts where I had to just kind of slide them through there. Oof, Coaster Force. Yeah, they can try. It's called fair use, but that's a whole other point. At least now. But in terms of what I was saying, yeah, it's really script. I mean, coaster enthusiasts care what you have to say mostly. It's all about that. It's not really about what they're looking at. It's not. I treat my videos more as individual podcasts than I do videos to be watched sometimes. I mean, that really helps me with how I write them. When will I do another one of these? I'm going to try to do one every either Monday or Tuesday, but I'm going to try to do early in the week. It kind of helps me, honestly, not have to worry so much about making a scripted video, and it kind of helps me out with, unwinding at the end of the day. But yeah, so I'm thinking I'm going to do one of these a week. If you have any ideas for topics, leave them in the comments of this video after it goes live. I'd be happy to look at that. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been great. I've loved talking about Dragster. My fiance is saying bye. My dog looks confused. That's just how it is around here. Have a great night, everybody. I mean, I'm Josh from Station Wait. Have a great day.